So, Mr. Hodo, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide and seek, don't you?
By opening the safe, you mean?
What else?
Let's see, the combination was 1...
432582.
I knew that. Alright, then here goes.
Sure you did. Sure you did, Bart.
I like to think Gronowski would have just been like 1. That's the combination, right? 1? You found me!
Say who's voicing that. Is that entirely necessary?
Yes, every moment of that was necessary. Right then, sir. Mr. Enoch Drebber, I presume. Correct.
Why? Why?
You'd better start What? Why what?
Why is he a robot?
You'd better start talking. You tricked Professor Heber into that bogus machine you built.
And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Two Spells as well.
Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions, personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate?
Your parcel?
I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in a most prominent position.
Ah!
Ha ha ha. I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me then?
No! Would you say that? Mr. Sholmes, with only 7 seconds left to spare!
It's too close for comfort. I've got 1 foot in the grave already. Try to help us get killed or get us killed.
Mr. Sholmes, the Dexons could be completely life-altering, can't they?
Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say.
The resemblance to the thing you just made up?
Anti-gravity devices don't exist!
Phew, I wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes. What on earth happened in here? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems.
So malevolent.
I'm trying to go for a Pegasus voice.
Maximillion Pegasus.
Runo boy.
No!
Yes, well, we'll be giving it a thorough going home. Don't you worry, Trevor. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt.
Whistling? Ah, that would have been me. Oh. For some reason, I woke in a fine fettle today.
No words, just tightly squeezed chips.
Yum, 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 yum.
Clearly I must have a screw loose though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly the rope was too short. So I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe.
And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon amongst the rafter.
And after that you hid yourself inside the safe, having first sent this parcel ticking. Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police.
Got a death wish, have you? Hiding right beside a ticking time bomb.
Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it.
So, in fact, the safe was the only safe place.
Precisely.
But once you climb inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again.
I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. Ah, so it is. I had always intended to blow this place to smithers in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans.
Do you mean to say you plan to blow us all up?
No, that was unforeseen. What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet.
Well, we're not those people.
I calculated the time required for retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless discourse in here threw a spanner in the works.
Oops. Is something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face, besides the usual eyes, ears, and mouth?
It moves like an animatronic, Shady. Welcome. Yeah. That's Drebber. I think I have a fairly good idea of what's going on here now. But what about the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor Harebrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the Professor.
The Professor?
Clad in a mask with a lock so strong I'm unable to open it, safely to reveal a killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as a protection.
That's enough! What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here.
Yes, well...
Detective Scythe again. It's the forensic investigation team I hear.
And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew about this, you'd be finished. You lot, leave it once.
My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, that's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Scythe? Hello, Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Scythe. They were old lovers.
Oh, ooh la la. If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression in your face, you're quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell. You get out! But of course, we'll show ourselves the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruto,
Yes?
it would appear our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today.
But Mr. Sholmes.
Let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hand.
Hmm.
I said get out! Now! All of you! Your presence here is not required either, Gregson.
Understood. Well, I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never even found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set in here that this lot disarmed.
Inspector. K.
Something giving you a chuckle, has it, Drebber?
Ah, so sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you did disarm that one.
Oh. What are you? That one, yeah. You mean?
K.
Oh. Oh, it's the one in the machine. All the evidence.
Oh no, those two Bobbies!
Those two
It's
nameless
okay.
Bobbies.
They didn't have names, so it's not a crime. You can't prosecute somebody if you can't have a name for the victim, so.
Yeah, I think that's how that works.
It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all of its secrets were blown away forever.
I mean, that means that Hairbrain kind of got what he wanted in the end.
Did he?
His device was protected from people learning about it.
Except for the identical copy and the...
Shh. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, boo. It's okay. What?
Good morning to you, Mr. Naruto. Good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings? I hope so. I should be. Even I, with nothing left to...
Good morning, my dear fellows.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here.
Why, naturally, a true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'll see you later then. Now, Professor, we really need to remain calm in the courtroom today.
Yes, do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again.
Yes, I will. I realize it was a mistake, but I...
My dear fellows, I must interject.
Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes. What's the matter?
Surely you overlooked some praise, have you not? Be cast in my direction,
Sorry, I don't follow.
Must I spell it out? I, the great Herlock Sholmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation. arose at some ungodly hour to be here now. First thing in the morning, a miracle must agree.
What time is it? 9. Yeah, ungodly hour.
I mean, that's kind of early.
Kinda. I wouldn't call that ungodly.
Yeah.
Well, if I must agree then. Plus, this is just every day for Inosuke. He's like, I deserve to be praised. I woke up as early, almost as early as you for once.
Listen, I'll have you know, if I have to be awake at 9 a.m., I generally am very upset.
Yeah, but Sholmes also didn't have to be.
Yeah, he chose to be, and he wants to be, like, rewarded for it.
He wants to be rewarded for waking up not quite as early as Ryunosuke does every day. Cool name said, his cool name, right? Oh, welcome. Cool ignore her lock. Anytime before noon is early. I mean, I won't disagree, but...
Yeah, anything I do... Oh, is that me?
Yeah.
As you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris had to employ her full gamut of tactics. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched me, and kicked me from the bed.
Which cheeks?
Anyway, cool name here. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blade on my face, and at last I was bestirred. Oh my, Iris has been busy.
It takes scalding him to wake him up. You know, same.
Fair.
Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice. Ah, I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist, one who relishes the infinite possibility of blending tea.
What? I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory.
Who could this be? Could this possibly be anybody I'm voicing?
Statistically speaking, probably not.
Yeah, I think about the only one that could be is Gregson. I don't think it's Gregson.
Sorry to cut in.
Oh!
Wow!
Oh my gosh! Wow!
You know, I deserve that one.
Yeah, that one's on you, for sure.
Sorry to cut in.
Yeah. I literally only voiced one character outside of Trial, so it should be fine.
I mean, not literally only one outside of Trials, but like, it wasn't gonna be like Drebber.
Yeah.
Inspector Gregson, good morning.
Gregson, my dear fellow, what a grim expression at this delightfully early hour.
I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression, eh?
Oh, dear me, are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor?
What? I don't know! Wait, what insult? Oh, his grim expression.
Yeah, the harebrain's expression was grimmer than...
Poor Professor.
It was a poor joke at best.
Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for.
What paperwork?
I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful.
You wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this brought out of the archives. It's the professor's autopsy report.
That masked murderers.
Who killed 5 members of the aristocracy?
He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. And he was quite quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here.
I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector.
Yes, much obliged, Gregson.
We're slowly light at the yard, just doing what we can. In the shadows of the great Detective Sholmes, of course.
Well then, Professor Hairbrain, this is it. Today we're going to lay this all to rest, at last.
I wish you the best of luck, Professor.
Kohler says a Gregson's fanfic. I suppose he'll be in here today, won't he? Will he? Drebber.
Yes, we expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness.
I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much.
Counsel and the defendant. The trial's about to resume. Kindly make your way to the courtroom at once.
This is it then, the final chapter. Funny, my heart's racing a little. I've not felt this before, actually. This strange foreboding. As if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Finding the truth.
I wake up, I go out, I reach out to the truth, all my life seeing things.
Yes. Cool name said my heart's racing too, but for different reasons.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Hairbrain, here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels of the prosecution defense ready to proceed?
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
The defense is ready, my lord. As promised, Lord Van Zeeks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks.
Yes, my lord.
There appears to be someone standing at your side.
Ah, yes, my apprentice and my assistant.
Quillim says the masked man has a handsome jaw.
Cool name, you literally can see one body part.
It's his favorite body part. Along with
think
every
all
other.
body
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity in this case rise considerably.
Yeah, he followed up with, can he just take everything off except for the hood and mask?
Would you even know? Oh. How fancy. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's a long animation.
I had therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial.
In the smooth running of liquid refreshments, by the look of it.
The way he holds himself, the way he moves. Couldn't be anyone else.
But he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we can do at the moment.
I know, but it's so very hard.
Just hit him in the back of the head with a cat again.
It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you've successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question.
Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly.
Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today, are you ready and willing to proceed? Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty.
I do so despite deception and deceit. I find it so very wearying.
And we basically know Quilname. I was on. To take a man's life. Wait, no, what did I do? To take a man's life with a conjuring trick. It is against the magician's code, not to mention the law.
I hoped you hadn't remembered because I was going to give you the Luigi.
Oh, dang it, yeah. Wait. To take a man... How do I do? Wow. To take a man's life with a conjuring trick. It's against the magician's code, not to mention the law.
Anything scientists should feel the wrath of God, if you ask me.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence and then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
It wasn't like this back in my day. It wasn't like this at all. If all parties are ready to proceed, you may begin, Lord Von Zeeks.
Before I do, my lord, there's a report I must read to the court.
I guess she must have sharp teeth. That's an odd thing to note.
Yum, 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 yum. Yesterday at the Great Exhibition Ground, the device, the evidence of primary importance in this case, the super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine which was installed on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons.
It was what? An explosion?
This is an outrage!
You noted added things during this playthrough, Ronan?
Yes, I heard the grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithereens and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the flame.
I have here a photographic print of the scene taken in the wake of the explosion. It shows what little remains of the machine.
Yes. A terrible business.
He did destroy the evidence, did he?
That Enoch Drebber.
The court will now take this print as evidence, counsel.
I'm sure it's just a photograph with a magnifying glass.
Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence.
Yeah, cool name.
As such, this will become a very different trial. Oh yeah, don't you know? As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will forever remain in obscurity.
Indeed. Most unfortunate state of affairs.
However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and ultimately caused its loss of control.
As Lord Van Zeeks rightly says, this is a very different trial now. The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Asman died as a result of the accident caused by this machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters.
Names, counsel, if you please.
The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Asman.
Ellipses.
So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant. Clearly, the two of them worked together to commit this murder.
Clearly, the person who was murdered and the person who did the murdering worked together to commit the murder?
I mean, that's technically a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I'm not
different
arguing
words
against
for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, counsel. The positions for the prosecution defense have been clearly stated.
Well, they said maybe the two of them were lovers.
I mean, I feel like that's cool names defense for all kind of argument.
Lord Van Zeek, summon the first witness, please.
At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to the stand.
We're doing this already.
State your name and occupation for the court.
Name? Enoch Drebber. Occupation? Hard to pin down, I would say.
See the black monocle?
Yes, why do I feel as though I've seen it somewhere before?
Oh, they too. I had the exact same feeling.
Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business.
But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Clear it from your mind.
You're familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago. The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration.
Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it, at least. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there?
It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment.
Well, Coolin said that's not true. Sometimes I say they're just banging pals. And also said, is it bad that I am attracted to Drebber? What can his robo-arm do?
Listen, I would be very concerned about the robot arm, but we don't have to get into it. Unless Shad JV gives me permission to.
You do not have permission!
If I may.
You may not!
Oh, okay.
Or so our investigation indicates. Can you confirm your involvement?
Yes, I constructed it, in precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all. No, Coolin, too much.
Then the court will be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure.
Hmm. An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last. What?
Good gracious, do you mean to say the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir?
Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up. But we've already established that the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
You established nothing of the sort. All that was shown during yesterday's proceeding is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated feasibly, nothing more.
Coolin, or Shady, is why Von Zeke's the cultist next to him. That's his assistant. We saw him in previous stuff. They believe that he might be Kazuma, but he has no memory.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
That he has no memory? Yeah, very dope. But I wish I had no memory.
Epic gamer moment when you give yourself amnesia. Slam!
Could experience the game again blind.
Oh my gosh! If you could experience a game blind again, which one?
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, hands down.
I mean, it's my favorite game, so I'm curious what it'd be like to play it blind, because I've never played it blind.
Gamers in the chat, if you could...
I played it blind when I was like 8 and it came out, but I don't remember that.
if you could play a game from blind, which one would it be? And I know that sometimes y'all don't answer, but like I would really appreciate it if you answered this one, because I'm really interested.
We prosecuted long enough. We've procrastinated long enough, I feel.
We prosecuted long enough. Just defense from now on. What? Wait, what? But, Your Honor! No. Too much prosecution. Just defense.
Witness will now give your formal testimony about the machine you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration of the Great Exhibition.
Cool name said Dream Daddy.
That's a real good choice.
Understood. I don't know. Honestly, the Ace Attorney trilogy, maybe. Like, most visual novels that I've enjoyed, like, because the first time really is the best time for a visual novel.
Yeah, when everything's like brand new and all the stuff is like...
I will say absolutely not Doki Doki Literature Club. That was bad enough the first time. I don't want it the second time the first time.
I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty good both times for me, though I do admit that it was definitely weird that you chose the same love interest on both routes. You definitely stick to your guns.
What's her name's like 14?
Yeah, you kind of did it to yourself by not hanging out with the best friend right away.
Oh, Shady says Tales of Symphonia or Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Oh.
And
That's
then
fun.
Oh, and Coolin said the real answer is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
Oh, really? Like, cool name. You're genuine. Like, I've seen so much of it, and I wanted to give it a try, but I didn't think that I would like it. But like,
I'm assuming it's similar to Kingdom Hearts.
Praise. No, it's not. It's
There's 13
weird...
Sentinels.
13. It's like a weird visual novel that's like not like it's told outside of like regular chronology. Like things just kind of happen all at the same time. It's very bizarre. There's multiple different people. I know a little bit about it.
Another one for me would be Ghost Trick.
Really? You like Ghost Trick that much?
Have you seen through Ghost Trick or?
I played a little bit of it, but I figured we might eventually play Ghost Trick.
If we can find a way to, I mean, I'd love to. It's by the same writers of the Ace Attorney trilogy, and it might exceed the Ace Attorney trilogy. It might. It competes with it hard.
I mean, it's on iOS and on DS.
I mean, I can't really stream iOS.
But you can stream DS.
Kinda. DS emulation's hit and miss. I don't know how it is for that game.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could find a way at some point, sure. It's just not high on the list because we already have planned stuff.
But yeah, we got plenty of things that I'm not concerned either. But I'm saying I played through a little bit of it. Like I played up until you.
No shady. It was a DS game, not a phone game, but it got a phone port, like Ace Attorney.
Yeah, it was the part in the house with the little girl with the purple hair and Missile the dog.
Ooh, Missile from Ace Attorney.
Yeah, Missile from Ace Attorney.
He was the main character in the first Ace Attorney game.
Was he?
You don't remember him?
The
case 4, Edgeworth's case, you get to borrow one of 3 things from Gumshoe to help you examine stuff, look for stuff, and there's like a metal detector, a fishing pole, and Missile. And if you pick Missile and take him there, he just eats all of Larry Butts' samurai dogs. Okay, well, I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Mr. Asman's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you, but perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow. A body double? That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't, it's a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with a fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines? Ugh.
Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Asman has no twin sibling.
It's my understanding that the witness is well versed in conjuring art for this. But such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims. Namely, the construction by what, by all accounts, must have been an extremely complex scientific machine.
Whatever do you mean?
Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of their past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber.
Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how. Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field.
Investigation of the witness's workshop attests to that claim. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for young talent and science there. Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves.
If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation with sufficient skill. Though I may have told the secrets of some deceptive wiles to sniveling, talentless scientists in the past.
Would you therefore answer that the explosions of the machine was
an unfortunate accident, or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science?
Whoa. Mumbo.
Counsel for the defense, cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Cool name, I think it is a robot arm, not a glove. Just because of the way the joints look and stuff. And the way he moves it. But, I mean, it might be a glove, but I think it's a robotic arm.
Hold it!
So you're already acquainted with Mr. Asman himself? Not really. By chance, I'd seen his name mentioned in the papers. That's all. But I had no interest in his private affairs. If he was an unscrupulous investor, it was no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I take up my tools and construct what they ask for. So why did Mr. Asman approach you in that particular, then? Who can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering.
Sure.
Not to mention excellence in fraud.
Yeah, boy.
Hard to gauge. But the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprints I was given.
In other words, the kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principles.
Yes, you might say that. Professor Harebrain certainly has a mind like no other.
Bum, bum, bum.
Blueprints, machines, specifications, no trick. It's clear that you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes along. But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think. It's a possibility that we have yet to explore. Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So there's really nothing left to explore, is there?
It appears that the kinesis machine was fitted with a timed explosive device of some sort.
And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remaining, I hear. Must have planned all this from the outset. But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment couldn't have been a trick. Have a good night, cool name.
Goodbye, Conan.
Hold it!
Of course, that's it. Mr. Asman was a twin.
Objection!
Just establish I didn't have twins.
What? Oh.
They just established that he wasn't a twin. Yeah.
Perhaps my learned friend wasn't listening earlier. Mr. Asman had no twin siblings.
He was
No,
actually a triplet.
No, I heard you before, but the thread of hope hadn't quite left me.
Oh, I can't stand him. Sometimes.
He's definitely Phoenix Wright's ancestor.
He truly is. He's just chaotic good. Like he just.
I
tries
guess
his
good.
best.
I feel like you need a couple more chaotics in there.
Yeah, just chaotic with a splash of good.
And a little more chaotic.
And a little more chaotic, yeah, just to make sure, because you're not sure if you had enough chaos.
Chaos chaotic!
Chaos chaotic! That's so funny.
The demonstration could have been a trick. If there was somebody who looked sufficiently like the victim. But Dr. Sykes absolutely ruled out that as a possibility. It is beyond question that the victim himself, Mr. Asman, did move from the stage of the Crystal Tower. The fingerprint found at the scene attests to the fact. So, it can't have been orchestrated using someone who looked identical to Mr. Asman, then. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, no, nothing. Just that the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing on my mind. Spectators saw the birdcage appear with a head, crashed headfirst in the crystal tower. It crashed headfirst, you say? According to the many witness reports from those there at the time, yes. Were you not there at the exhibition grounds on the day?
Oh!
Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop. What?
His finger has like a little turny thingy, and that's why it's making his eyes turn.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I just thought
Oh.
like he was just like doing like a fun pose, but like you can see the gears in his hand. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
He's an engineer.
That's really cool.
Engineers do stuff like that.
I don't know. Both of my siblings are engineers, and I don't think they've made a single cool thing in their entire life.
Then they're probably not really engineers, they're conjurers. They're just doing stage magic and fooling all of you.
Oh, God. You can't say these things when I'm drinking water.
Well, you can't drink water while I'm saying these things.
Oh, fair enough. My bad. Oh, I need a tissue.
Sorry.
Oh, you suck. You're not allowed to be funny.
Listen, there's a delay in what I can see on the cam, so like, you seem to drink water right when I say the stuff. Like, I don't see you drinking and then say it.
Yeah, it's usually because I have to wait until you're done talking and I'm done talking to say something.
Yet another of your unique inventions was found at the scene. Well, it was the unveiling of a machine I'd labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes, the birdcage plummeting head first into the tower. What a surprise. I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, wasn't it? How would you have come by that information? Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. According to the reports, 2 injuries were apparent on the victim's body. Yes, he'd been stabbed in the chest by a screwdriver believed to belong to the defendant, and he had broken vertebrae as a result of a fall from considerable height. Why is like a smug look on your face while you read this, Ryunosuke?
Correct. My learned friend has been doing his research, it seems.
Do we know which... I'm throwing any voices. Do we know what injury was the fatal one?
Sadly not. Forensic science is not yet at a level where such things can be determined. What we do know is that the victim died having sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment. And since he was found in the birdcage with his neck broken,
It's obvious that he fell from a considerable height. I suppose that's hard to deny. Terrible accident guarantee for science with machines flawed smile. So you misunderstood the science, did you? Not in the slightest. Oh, right. As I've said a number of times, I'm an engineer. My job is to manufacture according to the blueprints I'm given. I would be inviting manifold problems if I foolishly allowed my brain to digest the ideas behind them. I could be accused of stealing those ideas, for example. But how is it possible to construct a machine without truly understanding the principles it relies on? Well, you're practicing law without really understanding the principle it relies on, aren't you? A very good point.
Stand up for yourself, Mr. Naruhodo.
the point is, the experiment resulted in instantaneous kinesis taking place. As such, the science must be sound.
Everybody just gonna ignore the fact that Ryunosuke just said, yeah, I don't understand anything about law in court. Yes, and really, experimental results are all that matters when it comes to proving a hypothesis. He's certainly very sure of himself.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, not that the machine has been completely destroyed by yesterday's explosion. It's going to be impossible to argue its authenticity one way or the other.
But if we are unable to establish that it was a piece of stage trickery rather than genuine science, we will have no grounds on which to demonstrate Professor Hairbrain's innocent.
Both Mr. Hersman and this man in the stand tricked the professor and used him. They took advantage of his naivety and his unbending belief in his work, and I won't let them get away with it. And seeing as the professor is an old friend of Lord Van Zeek's, what on earth must he be feeling towards Drebber? Okay. So what do you think? Any ideas?
So there's a couple of things we need to establish. A, that there's a way that he could have used a body double, which obviously I already know what we could do for that. And B, something else that I had on the top of my head that we could establish. But I think that's my first one was what I believe. So next statement. Next statement. Next statement. Next statement. Okay, go back 2 statements. So, present. Okay, go to the third page, the last page of. No, go. Keep going back. Back. I really do think that it is. I really do think it's the head, but like that's too early. I don't think it makes sense. But present it anyways.
Objection.
Nope.
The last statement would seem to be at odds somehow with the evidence.
It is your task, counsel, to explain this somehow to the court, not the other way around.
It just seemed to jar, though, don't you think?
What I think is that this whole exchange has been extremely jarring, yes.
Perhaps I need to reconsider this. Okay, now what? What's your next guess?
Here, give me a second. My brother's been texting me. That's why I'm a little disconnected.
Okay.
Okay, so am I on the right path
With what?
with my train of thought?
Which part?
About the thing that we need to disprove is that third statement. There's only ways if he had a twin.
No.
Oh, that's not it?
Not at all.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's it. We need to disprove that he met him a year ago. No, that's irrelevant. Next. Provided me with the blueprint and I constructed a machine to his precise specifications. I mean, I could see there being something there, but let's continue. You said that one is absolutely not the right one, so let's continue. All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. Maybe that one. And then what's next? Terrible accident. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow. That one. Let's present. Is there Hairbrain's tiny little journal? Is
We
that a
don't have
thing?
that, nope.
Let's go to the second page of evidence. The trophy.
This?
Yeah,
Okay.
that.
Present it, you?
Yeah.
Objection.
I don't really know why the trophy.
Because it could be like, listen, you got an award. You built it, right? I don't know.
Yeah, but he said he intentionally avoids trying to understand the blueprints so he can't be accused of stealing them.
Mm-hmm. Fair. Here, give me a hint, because I'm lost.
The hint is that we have to re-examine a piece of evidence.
No!